Ladies, I want to talk to you today about something that I believe will unlock clarity in your relationships and help you walk in confidence and peace. The title may sound simple, but the truth behind it carries power. Men fall in love with you only for two reasons. Now, I'm not here to complicate what God made simple. I'm not here to give you 20 steps to win someone's heart. No, I believe God works in principles, not confusion. The first reason a man truly falls in love with you is this: he sees purpose in you. A man aligned with God is not just looking for attraction, he's looking for direction. He's looking for a woman who carries vision, who knows who she is in Christ, and who walks like she's already whole. When a man sees you living with purpose, not waiting to be chosen, but already chosen by God, something inside him wakes up. He sees destiny, not just beauty. And that kind of love, that's not just romance, that's divine connection. The second reason is this: he finds peace in you. The Bible says, better to live on a rooftop than in a house with conflict. When a man finds a woman who carries peace, who speaks life, who brings calm to chaos, that's not just attractive, that's irresistible. You become his safe place, not because you solve his problems, but because you remind him of God's presence. So if you've been wondering, why hasn't love found me yet? Maybe it's not about being prettier or funnier or more available. Maybe it's about stepping deeper into your purpose. Maybe it's about cultivating peace that passes understanding. When you walk in your God-given identity, you don't have to chase love. Love recognizes you. Love sees the purpose. Love feels the peace. Let me encourage you today. You are not too much and you are not too late. The right person will see the two things that matter most: your purpose and your peace. And when he does, he won't just like you, he'll fall in love with you. When we talk about love, real love, lasting love, we often hear a lot of noise. The world says a man falls in love because of looks, charm, or chemistry. And while those things might spark attention, they don't sustain affection. They don't hold the weight of commitment. That kind of love that stands the test of time, that kind of love that grows deeper and stronger, isn't based on surface things. It's based on something much more powerful. Let me tell you this today, and I believe it with all my heart. A man truly falls in love with a woman for two reasons: purpose and peace. That's it. Two anchors, two pillars, two things that God himself designed to be the foundation of real, lasting connection. You see, purpose is not about having everything figured out or being busy all the time. It's about knowing who you are and why you're here. When a woman walks in her purpose, when she knows her identity is rooted in God, there is a confidence that rises in her that no makeup or outfit can compete with. She may not be the loudest in the room. She may not have the fanciest career or the biggest social circle. But there is something about her that commands respect. Her steps are ordered, not desperate. Her heart is whole, not hunting. A man sees that and he falls in love, not just with how she looks, but with how she carries what God placed inside her. A purposeful woman doesn't shrink back to be liked. She doesn't wait for a man to validate her dreams. She's already in motion. She's already moving in her calling. And when a man encounters her, it's not just her presence that pulls him in. It's her direction. He begins to imagine building with her. He sees a future. He sees a partner. It's not just romance. It's kingdom alignment. It's something spiritual that connects beyond attraction. And this is important. Purpose doesn't mean perfection. You can still be healing, you can still be growing, but when you're rooted in purpose, even your process becomes attractive because it shows that you're living with intention, not by accident. Now let's talk about peace. Oh, this is big. Because purpose draws a man in, but peace keeps him there. The world can be loud. Men face battles every day that they often don't speak about. Pressure, expectations, uncertainty. And when a man finds a woman who carries peace, who doesn't stir chaos, who doesn't play mind games, who doesn't feed insecurity, but instead speaks life, listens with grace, and holds space with calm, that woman becomes a haven. A man will chase peace more than he'll chase passion. Because when the storms of life hit, passion may fade, but peace becomes priceless. Peace doesn't mean you never speak your mind. It doesn't mean you're always quiet or always agreeable. No, peace is strength under control. It's knowing when to fight and when to pray. It's learning how to disagree without dishonor. It's the spirit of Proverbs 31. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. That kind of peace doesn't come from trying harder. It comes from staying connected to the Prince of Peace. When you carry the presence of God, you naturally carry peace. And that presence will be the very thing that draws the right person to you. Some women wonder why the men they date never seem to stay. They show up for the beauty, they stay for a little while, but then they fade. It's not because you're not worthy. It's not because you're not good enough. Sometimes it's simply because the wrong men are drawn to surface things, but they don't have the capacity for purpose and peace. And that's not a reflection of your value. It's a revelation of their readiness. A man who's not aligned with God won't recognize godly traits in a woman. He'll mistake your confidence for pride, your peace for passivity, your vision for stubbornness. But the right one, he'll see your strength and fall in love with it. He'll see your stillness and find rest in it. Let me remind you, you don't have to perform to be loved. You don't have to exhaust yourself trying to prove you're worthy. When a man falls in love with you for the right reasons, your purpose and your peace, you won't have to beg for consistency. You won't have to ask him to call, to show up, to make an effort. He'll do it gladly, because purpose inspires pursuit and peace nurtures connection. That's the kind of love that goes the distance. That's the kind of love that doesn't just ignite, it endures. So don't water down your calling to be more digestible. Don't silence your peace to avoid being misunderstood. Keep walking in purpose. Keep cultivating peace, because when a man sees both in you, not just one, but both, he won't just admire you, he'll cherish you. That kind of love isn't found in chasing or settling. It's found in standing confidently, faithfully, beautifully in who God made you to be. When a woman walks in her purpose, something powerful happens. She becomes magnetic, not because she's trying to impress anyone, but because she's aligned with what God created her to do. There's a certain glow, a spiritual confidence that comes from knowing you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And listen, it's not about being perfect. It's not about having everything lined up on a vision board or having all the answers. It's about movement. It's about direction. When a woman is moving in her God-given assignment, she sends a signal to the right kind of man. This is someone who's not just going somewhere. She knows where God is taking her. And that kind of clarity, that's attractive on a whole new level. Men who are truly walking with vision, men who aren't just living for today, but are building for tomorrow. They're not looking for just any kind of companion. They're looking for alignment. They're looking for someone whose spirit speaks to their spirit, someone whose life complements their calling. And when they meet a woman who's living in her purpose, it's like something clicks in their heart. They don't just see beauty, they see destiny. They don't just feel attraction, they feel assignment. It goes beyond butterflies. It reaches down to the soul. Because real men of vision don't just fall for a face, they fall for fruit. They're drawn to the evidence of God's hand on your life. That's why walking in your purpose is so important, not to get attention, but to stay in alignment with what God has prepared for you. You see, purpose acts like a filter. It will automatically eliminate relationships that are not meant for you. If a man is not ready for where you're headed, he'll get uncomfortable around your calling. He'll see your confidence as a threat, your vision as competition. That's okay. That's not rejection. That's redirection. Don't you dare shrink to keep someone who wasn't built to walk with you. The right one won't be intimidated by your purpose. He'll be inspired by it. He'll want to protect it, nurture it, and build with it. And let me say this, walking in your purpose doesn't mean being constantly busy or always on the grind. Purpose isn't performance. It's not about how many things you accomplish. It's about how faithfully you walk in what God has called you to do day by day. It could be raising children with intentional love. It could be starting a business, serving in ministry, leading in your workplace, mentoring young women. Whatever your lane is, when you walk it with obedience and joy, you radiate strength. And the kind of man who is walking in his own purpose will recognize that strength because he's built the same way. There's a difference between a man who wants to date you and a man who wants to walk with you. One is attracted to your image, the other is aligned with your mission. One is caught up in the moment, the other is committed to your future. And the only way to recognize the difference is to keep walking in purpose. Don't step out of your assignment just to be noticed. When you're walking with God, you don't have to compete for attention. Your purpose will announce you. Your light will shine so brightly, the right man will not only notice, he'll honor it. And here's the beauty of it. When two people are aligned in purpose, love becomes a partnership, not a project. You're not constantly trying to convince each other to grow. You're already growing, just in the same direction. You're not dragging someone along. You're walking side by side. That's what God intended. Genesis didn't say Eve was created to sit behind Adam or compete with Adam. She was created as a helper, suitable, equal, aligned, strong. That's the picture of purpose-based love. Not a tug of war, but a team. Not friction, but flow. So ladies, keep building what God told you to build. Keep growing in your gifts. Keep nurturing your identity in Him. Don't dilute your purpose for the sake of temporary attention. The man who is called to you will not be confused by your fire. He'll be fueled by it. He'll meet you on the road, not on the sidelines. And when he does, he won't just be falling for your beauty, your charm, or your smile. He'll be falling in love with your calling. Because a woman walking in purpose is not just admired, she is divinely recognized. We live in a world where attraction gets a lot of attention. Looks, style, the way you carry yourself. These things can catch a man's eye. But here's what I want you to hear today. What catches his eye may start the connection, but what keeps his heart is direction. A man who is serious about building something, lasting, something meaningful, isn't just looking for beauty. He's looking for alignment. He's not just searching for someone who looks good next to him, but someone who can walk with him, pray with him, and build legacy beside him. And that, my friend, comes from direction. Attraction is instant, but direction is revealed over time. It shows in the way you talk about your future. It shows in how you spend your time, how you protect your peace, and how you make decisions. A woman who has direction is not easily shaken. She knows where she's headed, even if she doesn't have all the details. That kind of clarity becomes a compass. And the kind of man who's walking with God, he's not impressed by confusion dressed up as charm. He's drawn to a woman who knows her lane and is not afraid to stay in it. That's what makes her stand out. Direction isn't about being bossy or independent to a fault. It's about living with intention. It's not, I don't need a man. It's, I'm whole with or without one. It's not about doing everything on your own. It's about refusing to settle for a life that doesn't align with God's promises. When you walk in that kind of confidence, it speaks louder than any outfit ever could. A godly man doesn't just want to lead, he wants a partner who understands the journey, who can pray when he's tired, who can hold up the vision when life gets heavy. Direction is what gives him that peace. A man who's after God's heart is looking for more than a moment of pleasure. He's looking for purpose. And when he sees a woman who's not chasing fame or validation, but is walking her path with grace and strength, something in him says, that's what I've been looking for. He's not intimidated by her drive. He's inspired by it because he knows that purpose requires partnership, that two are better than one. And when he finds a woman who's already walking with God, already moving with purpose, he doesn't have to pull her into alignment. He sees that she's already aligned. And listen, this doesn't mean you have to have it all together. Direction is not perfection. It's not about knowing every next step. It's about knowing your source. When your direction is led by God, even your uncertainty has clarity. A woman can say, I don't know exactly how it's all going to work out, but I trust the one who does. That kind of faith, that kind of peace, it draws in the man who's looking for something deeper. Because when storms come, and they will, beauty fades, but direction holds steady. It becomes the anchor. And when a man sees that, he knows he's not just choosing a pretty face. He's choosing a partner with vision. Let me tell you something. The enemy loves it when women get distracted from their direction. He'll try to use relationships to detour your destiny. He'll send counterfeits who admire your appearance but ignore your calling. And if you're not careful, you'll mistake chemistry for compatibility. But when you're clear about your direction, you won't fall for every compliment. You'll discern intentions. You'll measure a man not by what he says in the moment, but by what he's building long term. A godly man will not just chase your body, he'll chase your heart, your mind, your mission. So don't dim your direction to be more digestible. Don't pretend to be passive just to seem more dateable. You don't need to make yourself smaller to attract someone who was never meant to walk with you in the first place. If he's truly after God, he'll be drawn to your strength, your structure, your spiritual maturity. He'll fall in love not just with who you are, but with where you're going. Because godly men don't fall for stagnation, they fall for movement. And when your movement is powered by divine purpose, you won't have to chase love. It will find you on the path you were always meant to walk. There's something powerful about a peaceful woman. Not just a quiet woman, but a peaceful one. Because peace isn't silence. Peace isn't passivity. Peace is presence. It's the presence of God resting on someone's life so heavily that when they walk into a room, the atmosphere shifts. That's the kind of peace I'm talking about. And let me tell you this, every man, especially a man after God's own heart, is searching for a place of peace. Not just a home, not just a future, not just a lifestyle, but a person who carries peace in her spirit. That kind of peace becomes a refuge in the noise of this world. See, the world is loud. Men face pressures they often don't even talk about. Expectations to provide, succeed, lead, hold it all together. On the outside, they may look strong, but on the inside, many are exhausted. They don't need more drama, more chaos, more emotional warfare. They're not looking for someone to fix them, but they are hoping to find someone who helps them breathe again. Someone who speaks life when life is heavy. Someone who doesn't just react to everything but responds with wisdom. A peaceful woman becomes that safe space, a harbor, not a hurricane. Peace isn't weakness. Don't let the world fool you into thinking that being soft, being kind, being gentle means you're not strong. Real peace is powerful. It takes more strength to hold your tongue than to clap back. It takes more courage to pray through a problem than to explode in it. It takes spiritual maturity to be still when everything in you wants to retaliate. But when you carry peace, you carry authority. You carry calm in a culture that thrives on chaos. And a man who's truly seeking something real, something of substance, will be drawn to that like a thirsty man is drawn to water. The Bible says in Proverbs 21:9, it's better to live on the corner of a roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife. That may sound harsh, but it's real. God is telling us something deep here. Peace matters. It matters more than a mansion. It matters more than a meal. A peaceful spirit turns a house into a home, a moment into ministry. That's what makes peace so attractive. A woman who carries peace becomes more than a partner. She becomes a covering, not because she's solving all the problems, but because she reminds him of God's presence in the middle of them. And listen, peace doesn't mean you never feel things. It doesn't mean you never cry or confront or express yourself. Peace means you know how to do it without tearing things down in the process. It means your emotions don't control you, you steward them. You don't allow circumstances to dictate your mood or your value. You walk in the confidence that God is for you, and because of that, you don't have to fight for control. You trust that even when things are uncertain, you are certain of who you are. That kind of woman, she's not just admired, she's honored. Because peace doesn't just decorate your life, it defines it. A man aligned with God will recognize this. He may not always be able to explain it in words, but he'll feel it in his soul. He may not say she carries peace, but he'll know, I feel whole when I'm with her. That's because peace is healing. It's not just comfort, it's restoration, it's rest, it's safety. And when a man finds that in a woman, it's not something he wants to play with or run from. It's something he wants to protect. Something he wants to stay close to. Something he will cherish. That's the power of your peace. So, dear woman of God, don't trade your peace to keep someone who thrives on dysfunction. Don't let someone make you feel like your calm is boring. You don't have to raise your voice or start fires to prove you're passionate. Your stillness speaks. Your gentleness teaches. Your peace preaches a message louder than any argument ever could. If a man is truly seeking something real, something blessed, something God ordained, he'll look for peace. And when he finds it in you, he'll realize he's found more than a partner. He's found a place to call home. One of the biggest lies the enemy tells women is this: if you want to be loved, you got to chase it. You got to prove you're worth it. You got to do more, be more, give more, post more, try harder. But that's not how kingdom love works. That's not how God operates. You were never created to chase love. You were created to walk in your God-given identity and let love recognize you in that space. The more you become who God called you to be, the less you'll need to pursue people who were never called to you in the first place. The truth is, when you don't know who you are, you'll settle for what doesn't serve you. You'll confuse attention with affection. You'll mistake validation for value. But when you embrace your identity in Christ, something shifts. You no longer need someone to tell you you're beautiful. You already know you're fearfully and wonderfully made. You don't need a man to complete you because you know you're already complete in him. That kind of confidence, that's unshakable. That kind of identity, it creates standards, not walls. And it keeps you from giving discounts on a heart that God made priceless. You don't have to perform to be loved. You don't have to bend, shrink, or compromise to get someone to stay. When you know who you are, you carry yourself differently. You walk with grace, not desperation. You speak with assurance, not insecurity. That's not arrogance. That's alignment. That's what happens when you stop chasing the approval of man and start walking boldly in the affirmation of God. You were chosen before you were charming. You were set apart before you were stylish. God loved you before anyone else had the chance to see you, and his love is what defines you. Embracing your identity means living from wholeness, not waiting on someone else to fill your empty places. It means healing, not hiding. It means facing the truth about your story, not with shame, but with strength. Because every broken place God healed in you is now a testimony. Every tear he caught, every fear he calmed, that's part of your beauty. And the right man, the one sent by God, won't run from your journey. He'll honor it. He'll recognize the anointing that came from the crushing. He'll value the wisdom that came from the wilderness. But it starts with you embracing who you are. All of you, without apology. You don't have to chase what you're aligned to attract. Let me say that again. You don't have to chase what you're aligned to attract. When your heart is aligned with heaven, love will find you in the right place, at the right time, in the right way, not through force, but through favor. God knows how to bring divine connections. He knows how to orchestrate timing. Ruth wasn't chasing Boaz. She was in position. Esther wasn't chasing the king. She was being prepared. You don't have to beg for what God has already promised. You just have to believe that you're worth it because he says you are. The right man will not require you to abandon your identity. He won't make you question your worth. He won't expect you to dim your light to make him comfortable. He will love the woman God made you to be. He'll cover you, not confuse you. He'll uplift you, not undermine you. That's how you'll know it's real. But here's the thing. You can't recognize the right love until you fully receive the right identity. So many women keep entertaining counterfeit love because they haven't yet embraced their full value. But when you do, you'll stop asking, well, why didn't he stay? And start declaring, thank God he didn't. So today, stop chasing and start resting. Rest in the truth that you are already loved, already seen, already known by the one who matters most. Let your worth be anchored in your Creator, not in a relationship status. When you embrace your identity, you stop waiting to be chosen because you know you already are. You stop searching for someone to make you feel secure because you're rooted in the unchanging love of your Father. And that is the place, that sacred, secure, whole place where love will find you, not because you were running after it, but because you were standing confidently in who you were created to be. One of the most powerful truths you can hold on to in relationships is this: a man who is truly for you will never ask you to compromise the calling God placed on your life. He won't belittle it. He won't ignore it. He won't try to pull you away from it. Instead, he'll do what godly love was always meant to do: protect it. He'll see your purpose not as a threat to his presence, but as a reason for it. When God sends a man, he sends someone who covers what's holy in you, not someone who competes with it. That's how you know it's real. You see, purpose is sacred. It's the very reason you were placed on this earth. And anything that threatens your purpose is threatening your destiny. That's why the wrong relationship can cost you more than just time. It can cost you alignment. It can pull you out of position. It can make you question what God told you, silence your gifts, shrink your confidence, or worse, cause you to live small, to keep someone who was never big enough to handle your calling. But the right man, he'll see the weight of your assignment, and instead of running, he'll rise. Because real love doesn't run from greatness, it runs toward it. The man who's for you will ask, how can I support you? He won't be intimidated by your gifts. He'll be grateful to be trusted with them. When you share your dreams, he won't respond with jealousy or insecurity. He won't try to redirect you to something more comfortable or traditional. No, he'll listen, he'll pray with you, he'll stand in agreement, because he knows that when God brought you into his life, he didn't just bring a partner, he brought a purpose carrier. And it's an honor to protect what's sacred in you. And this doesn't mean he'll be perfect. This doesn't mean he'll always know what to say or have all the answers. But what it does mean is that his posture will always lean toward support, not sabotage. He'll never pull you away from prayer, from purpose, from peace. He'll never guilt you out of obedience. You won't have to choose between him and God. The right man won't become a wedge between you and your assignment. He'll become a witness to it. He'll help you stay focused when life gets heavy. He'll remind you of who you are when you forget. That's what love looks like when it's rooted in God. When God created Eve, he didn't just give Adam someone to hold. He gave him someone to hold purpose with. She wasn't created to distract him. She was created to walk with him, to help him cultivate what God had already entrusted to him. And that picture hasn't changed. In kingdom relationships, both people are called. Both are carrying something holy. And when two people come together with that understanding, when purpose is at the center, love becomes a force that hell can't break. You're not just dating, you're building. You're not just surviving, you're covering. You're not pulling each other away from purpose. You're pushing each other deeper into it. That's why discernment is so important, because sometimes love will look like support, but it's really control in disguise. Some people will encourage your purpose as long as it doesn't shine brighter than theirs. Some people will say the right words but carry the wrong spirit. But when it's from God, you won't have to second guess your life. You won't have to quiet your voice to keep the peace. The man God sends will honor your assignment the same way he hopes you'll honor his, not just with words, but with presence, protection, and prayer. So don't ignore the tension when someone pulls you from what you know God told you to do. Don't silence that nudge just to stay in something that looks good on paper but is killing your passion. Love should never cost you your purpose. You were created for more than being someone's pretty plan B. You were created for kingdom impact. And the man who is truly for you, who's sent by God, not just attracted to your image, will see that, respect that, and protect that. Because when a man understands purpose, he doesn't pull a woman out of it, he helps her go deeper into it. Romance is beautiful, no doubt about it. The butterflies, the sweet words, the long walks, the connection, all of that is a gift. But here's the truth nobody tells you loud enough. Romance alone cannot sustain a relationship. It can spark the flame, but it can't keep it burning. What keeps love steady through the storms, through the stress, through the seasons of life is respect. When love is built on respect, not just feelings, it stands. When it's rooted in honor, not just hormones, it endures. You see, romance can be exciting, but respect is grounding. It's what keeps a couple anchored when life gets real, when things aren't cute, when emotions are heavy, when the mood isn't there. Respect is how you speak when you're upset. Respect is how you listen when you disagree. Respect is showing up not just when it's convenient, but when it costs something. A relationship rooted in respect doesn't always look glamorous, but it carries something sacred. It doesn't always trend, but it transforms. A man may be romantic and still not respect your calling. He may know how to plan dates, but not how to protect your heart. That's why you must look beyond the gestures and listen to the Spirit. A man who respects you will not play games with your time, your mind, or your emotions. He'll be intentional, not confusing. He'll speak truth, not manipulation. He'll want to understand you, not just impress you. Because respect says, I value you, I see you, I won't dishonor what God is doing in you. That's what real love sounds like. Romance often shows up when things are going well, but respect shows up when things are hard, when misunderstandings come, when stress rises, when you're not your best, when you're frustrated, when you're tired. Respect remains. And that's where trust is built. That's where love becomes strong. Because anyone can treat you well when everything's good, but the one who respects you will handle your heart with care even when the circumstances aren't easy. That's the love that grows. That's the love that's safe. And let me say this clearly, respect goes both ways. A woman of God knows how to honor a man as well. She doesn't belittle him. She doesn't compare him. She doesn't crush his spirit with her words. She uplifts, she encourages, she speaks life. When you've both learned how to honor one another, even in conflict, what you're building becomes unshakable. Because love without respect is fragile. But love with respect, that's fortified. That's kingdom. That's legacy. And when you meet someone who respects your boundaries, your values, your walk with God, hold space for that. That's not common in a world that glamorizes lust and fast feelings. Respect is holy. Respect is fruit. It's evidence of maturity. It's a sign that someone isn't just in this for what they can get. They're in it to build something that mirrors Christ. Because love that mimics Jesus is love that honors. And when God is at the center, romance becomes richer, deeper, purer, because it's resting on something solid. So don't let the world convince you that romance is everything. Don't get so caught up in chemistry that you overlook character. Choose love that lasts. And love that lasts is always rooted in respect. It sees you as a daughter of the King. It speaks to your spirit. It protects your peace. And when respect is in place, romance becomes the overflow, not the foundation. Because the real love story isn't written in candlelight and cute captions. It's written in how someone chooses you day after day with honor in their heart and Christ at the center of their love. In a world full of distractions, it's easy to mistake connection for covenant. To mistake chemistry for calling, to meet someone who gives you butterflies but steals your focus from the one who gave you wings. Let me be real with you today. If love is pulling you away from God, it's not love. Because the right love, the love that God sends, will never compete with your relationship with Him. It will complement it. It will stir your spirit, not just your emotions. It will call you higher, not make you hide. You weren't created to choose between your heart and your holiness. The love God has for you was never meant to be a distraction. It was meant to be a divine connection that helps you walk more fully in who He's called you to be. See, real love doesn't just make you feel good. It draws you closer to what is good, and God is the very definition of that goodness. That means the right relationship will pull you into deeper prayer, deeper purpose, deeper peace. It'll make you want to seek God more, not less. Think about it. When Adam first met Eve, they were already walking with God. The presence of God was the foundation, not the afterthought. When love is right, it fits in alignment with what God is already doing in your life. It becomes a support to your spiritual walk, not a substitute for it. If you find yourself having to compromise your convictions, silence your discernment, or disconnect from your spiritual life just to keep someone around, that's not love. That's a distraction dressed up as a desire. The enemy loves to package distractions in attractive wrapping. He'll send people who look good, talk sweet, and feel right, but pull you just far enough off course that you start losing sight of who you were becoming. But God will never send someone to sabotage your spiritual growth. The one God has for you will fan the flames of your faith. They'll be your prayer partner, your worship teammate, someone who says, let's seek God together, not just when we're in trouble, but even when everything's going right. That's love with purpose. That's love that lasts. The right person will respect your walk with God, even if they're not in the same place spiritually. They won't mock it, minimize it, or treat it like it's optional. They'll want to understand it. They'll be drawn to it. They may not know how to pray like you or quote every verse you do, but they'll honor the God who's moving in you. And that kind of honor is a seed. When love honors the presence of God in you, that love can be cultivated. It can grow because it's being watered with reverence and not resistance. And let me tell you something else. God will never ask you to give up His presence to gain someone else's. That's not divine alignment. That's emotional compromise. Love is never worth losing your light. When you're with the right person, you won't have to dim anything. You'll shine brighter because their presence doesn't drain your spirit. It sharpens it. It aligns with your calling. It brings peace to your soul. Instead of pulling you into confusion or compromise, it'll pull you into clarity and consistency in your walk with God. So if you're in a place right now where love feels heavy, if you're constantly torn between your feelings and your faith, take a step back. Ask God, does this relationship reflect your heart for me? Because the love He has for you is in chaos. It's not distraction. It's not disconnection. It's peace. It's purpose. It's presence. It's Him at the center. And when the right love comes, you won't have to chase God less to keep it. You'll be drawn into Him more, and that's how you'll know. It's not just emotional, it's eternal. You don't have to change who you are to be loved. You just need to remember who you already are. You are chosen, you are whole, you are already loved by the one who formed you before the foundation of the world. And when you walk in that truth, when you embrace your identity, protect your peace, and pursue purpose, the right love won't be something you chase. It'll be something you attract. Yes, men may fall in love with the image, but only the one who's sent by God will fall in love with your identity and your assignment. He won't be intimidated by your strength or distracted by your beauty. He'll be drawn to your spirit. Because kingdom love isn't built on surface level charm. It's built on God level connection. So don't settle for the kind of love that fades when the feelings do. Don't let loneliness talk you into living below your calling. You were made for more than temporary affection. You were made for lasting covenant. And when love is real, when it's rooted in purpose, respect, and the presence of God, it doesn't just stir your emotions, it aligns with your destiny. Keep becoming the woman God created you to be. Keep praying, keep growing, keep healing. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to beg for love that's already been promised. When the time is right and the heart is ready, love will find you, not because you were chasing it, but because you were walking in truth.